Doug Smith with another Restaurant Mastermind. I'm talking with Alan Magee, VP of Digital Marketing and Technology at Church's Chicken. And Alan, first off, thank you for taking part. And really the one thing that jumped out to me following your guys' Facebook page, and you and I are connected on LinkedIn, you're doing stuff that so many people, even big brands, aren't. So this is an opportunity to kind of pick your brain and share some ideas. But so really, I mean, first off, COVID's everywhere. It's ravaged the industry. The whole last 12 months has just been nothing but disarray. However, Church's Chicken's actually done pretty well. So my first question, how are you able to kind of mitigate the waters and grow while so many other people were having problems?
Yeah, I'd say, there was really two parts to us having some success over the past 12 months. And the first was we focused on our people first. So focused on having safe and clean restaurants, optimizing ops procedures, looking at menu, looking at all parts of the business, saying, what do we need to do to make sure that people know that coming to a Church's Chicken is safe? How can you do it? Being sensitive to their feelings. And that's the first thing that as a brand you need to do. You need to be sensitive to your guests and use all of your channels, whether it's live in person at a restaurant or it's in a digital space to bring that across. The second is we really invested in the off-premise and digital transformation. We started that about a year before COVID kicked off. We were onboarding with delivery partners, standing up things like order ahead and catering, having all those e-commerce channels available. So then when COVID actually hit, we were able to be nimble and be able to shift people into a new ordering mode, going digital first with us. But then the other part, digital transformation, which we started in 2018, where it's us relaunching all of our channels, thinking about search, thinking about our website, thinking about content, social, as you mentioned, having all of those to be able to be nimble and shift messaging and have conversations with our guests and be able to shift our focus to be more digital across everything, to then use those channels to shift behavior, whether it's placing an order through order ahead, through our website, through our mobile app, through Google, or showing up to a drive-through and knowing what are specials, what's going on with our menu, what's the promotion, and how we're being healthy and safe at our restaurants.
That's very cool. In your social media, I'll just take one angle to it here. I'm gonna share this. Your social media page, Facebook, over 1.2 million followers. Now there are big brands out there that may have 1 million followers, so on and so forth. But the one thing that just caught my attention, your posts are getting engagement. Your videos are getting thousands of views. One, you do videos. So many people don't even do videos. When it comes to social media, Facebook, Instagram, the whole scope, what's your approach and how important is it to you when it comes to connecting with those customers?
Yeah, I love this question because the way we think about social is it's all about the platform. We're primarily focused on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I love that video you've got up there. So those are our three big ones that we're focused on, but each platform works a little bit differently. There's native ways that people use Instagram differently than how they use Facebook, how they use Twitter. And so we started out and built an actual social media playbook a little over a year ago. It housed everything from what are our creative pillars? How do we think about community management and have conversations? What's our social persona? What's our tone of voice? And also, how do we measure? What do we want to test and learn from? So all of that. So really treating it as a big platform, not treating it as just another advertising vehicle. So it's not a billboard. And I'll say, that's one of the big things to call out is a lot of brands and also, individual operators really treat Facebook or Instagram as just another advertising vehicle. And you can't, because advertising is one way. And social media is a two-way conversation with you and your guest. So they're fans for a reason because they want to hear information from you. They want to have conversations with you. So a lot of our focus is on engagement. You can see those posts. We post a lot of polls, questions. We do a lot of user-generated content. We try to bring our fans into the mix on stuff. We want to learn from that. And and we test and learn a lot of things. We're constantly testing different types of videos, different types of engagement campaigns that this may work really well in Twitter, but it doesn't work well in Instagram, or we see more people are on Instagram using reels and stories, and we're getting good engagement here on this type of poll or this type of creative, and now let's try it in Facebook. So it's all about that constant testing and learning, thinking of it as a dynamic channel. It's not a one-way billboard in advertising, and I think that's why we see such high fan engagement on this, because we're using it as the platform should be used, and that's how people want to engage in those platforms.
And again, it's surprising to me how many businesses, not just restaurants, but businesses as well as restaurants, are not utilizing social media and the digital channels for what it really provides. They're almost afraid to make a mistake. They don't want to do a video because it's not polished, it's not perfect, it's not, the perfect lighting or whatever. And I would imagine, just glancing through your stuff, you and your team are willing to take a few risks that it may not work perfect, but you're going to learn from it, right?
100%. You always want that perfect shot of photography of a chicken sandwich, but that perfect shot of a chicken sandwich that's really staged does not nearly perform as well as someone that shot it with their iPhone and with a selfie of that real time. So social media is about, like I said, it's about real-time engagement. It's about testing and learning. If you put something up, it doesn't work, it doesn't perform, you can take it down. It's not going to live there forever. Now, yes, you got to be careful about what you say, and and there's some fine lines in there. But it's one of those few channels that allows you to really try stuff. And shooting with an iPhone is a lot of times just as effective as having a professional photographer come in and take shots. And the timeliness of stuff too, of doing something and sharing it in a timely manner, is better than planning for 2 or 3 weeks and having the very perfect post, because there's no such thing as the perfect post.
No, perfect. Now, one thing too, you have an app, you have an e-club. So obviously there's a database and database building in there somewhere. One of the things we have seen is businesses and restaurants that have had a database, that it's not just top level stuff, name, phone number, email, birthday club type thing. You're actually engaging in understanding who your customer is and having that two-way conversation. They're doing pretty well right now, even though it's been crazy over the last 12 months. So are you building a database? If so, how are you using that to foster a relationship as opposed to just that top level, great, it's your birthday, here's a free chicken sandwich stuff?
We are 100% building a database and trying to get above and beyond of just welcome to the club and happy birthday, right? That is at the most basic level. And this is one of those things that brands and individual operators need to be thinking about, because it's becoming more and more important. And in the next 12 months, you're going to hear so much more about what we're called first-party data. And that's your customers who have raised their hands to join your email club or download your mobile app. And they're actively giving you their information. So they're saying, hey, I've raised my hand, I want to get updates from you, but also I want to be treated as an individual. And I know that's very tough to hear as a marketer, is how do you get down to something individualized? But those customers are giving you data on their behavior. When they show up to your restaurant, do they come during lunch or dinner? What are they ordering? Is it single meals versus big family combos? And being able to start to move from what we call a one-to-all approach to a one-to-one, that's where the efficiency and that's where the real smart marketing comes in. I like to say that people don't hate advertising, they just want it personalized. And the more personalized and relevant that you can make your message to that guest, especially if they've raised their hands and they're opening your emails, that's what really creates loyalty and that lifetime value. So treat them as a person, find those points, whether it's being able to personalize with their name, their favorite restaurant, a product that they order, or knowing what day of the week they come in and then send them a message that's more targeted towards that day, towards weekend versus weekday or lunch or dinner. Those are the things that really drive behavior. So I'd say in the short term, this database helps you drive that revenue, whether it's with promotions, with activity, but in the long term, this is the big win, is you get that customer loyalty, and they're going to constantly come back because you're doing something different than the other 99% of brands out there who are marketing that way.
No, you're right. I like to say that if you have data and you're not using it, it's like owning a Ferrari and keeping it parked in a garage. Why even own it? But it is surprising how many businesses and restaurants don't utilize it. In today's day and age, that's where the gold is, because you have to personalize it. And one of the stories that I would always tell people, go, oh, advertising, people don't like it. I go, if that's true, then why does the Super Bowl every year have their own special that highlights the commercials, or people are afraid to leave? It's because they're entertaining, they're engaging, they put thought into it. So it's not the advertising. It's just like you said, though, it's like 90+% of it doesn't relate to that person, so they don't care. But if you can customize it and talk to them in terms of them, now you got their attention.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like thinking about a website and web experience. If you look at the back end of your website and understand what is it that people are trying to do when they get there. Are they looking at certain menu items? Is it really about finding your hours of operations or your or some other detail? Then move that up in the journey. If you see that their endpoint is taking them 4 and 5 clicks to get to a certain endpoint, then move that up to get to 1 to 2 clicks and put that on your front page. So for instance, at churches, we found a lot of people were trying to find 2 things. 1, coupons, and 2, restaurant information to go make a purchase. And we had those hidden between 4 and 5 clicks, and we moved them up so that coupons, you can get to it from the first click on the website. And also restaurant information. You see it right there. Where is your nearest restaurant when you get on churches.com? And what are promotions available? And then here's a link to order, and boom. So it's just making things convenient. Those are the types of things that garner more loyalty and that add that ease and convenience.
Yeah, here we go. There's the website.
Mm-hmm.
So as you look at it, you've got coupons.
Yep.
You've got locations. So everything you were just explaining, someone's watching this, he's not pulling your leg. Here it is, right here on the website.
Yep. And I'd even encourage you, look at our website on your mobile phone, because we know at churches, a majority of our guests are accessing the website on their mobile phone, over 85%. And so we actually have a different mobile experience that helps streamline from the phone to get people for everything from directions to order an Uber to the restaurant to place that purchase. So even think about it from that channel specific activity, because it is a little bit different of how your guests use it. And these aren't insights that took us, months and months to dig through. This is all stuff that's sitting in the back of your website in Google Analytics that you can find pretty easily.
No, that's good stuff. Last question. You've been in the hospitality industry for a while. You worked for IHG hotels. You've worked for several different restaurant brands. There are people out there that I know I have spoken to personally. This is their first time owning a business or a restaurant, going through an economic turmoil, and there's panic. So someone like yourself, who's been in this long enough that you've dealt with the 2008 recession, you've dealt with highs and lows or whatever else, what kind of piece of advice from a marketing standpoint, from a creative standpoint, would you give somebody who is just going crazy right now, trying to put their head around what's happening, but they want to move forward? What would you tell them would be a great thing that they could implement?
I'd say really just focus on what you can control, right? And that's at the core of it, is what can you control? And right now where we're at is there's a lot of control in the digital space. So be thinking about what information is out there around your restaurant or your brand in the digital landscape. Look at your things like your Google My Business listings, your social media pages, what you're doing from your customer email or mobile app or online ordering. Look at all of those pieces and really take a step back and think about it from the guest perspective. When they have an experience with your brand digitally, what is that experience? And be truthful about it, saying this is really good, but this is really bad. And work that list to say, what do we need to shore up in our business Because if we shore it up now as part of this, yes, it's going to help us in the short term. But it's also going to help us in the long term when consumer behavior changes, because you're going to be able to be a little more nimble, when that changes. Look at your competitors. I'm constantly looking at our competitors and saying, what are they doing? What do I think they're doing well versus what do I think is a poor experience? It's just doing that assessment continually. And then the other part I'd say is it's all about collaboration. And right now in the industry, everyone's feeling challenged. It's tough out there as an operator, but everyone's coming together in the restaurant industry. And so now is the time of, if you need help, ask for it. Ask for help from other operators. Talk to other brands. And there's a lot of collaboration going on. And there's really, I'd say, easy, quick things you can do that make a big impact. And yes, they may seem daunting because you don't understand how something may work in the back end that may feel really technical. Find someone that can help you with it, and that turns into a really quick solve. And you're going to learn along the way, and that's going to help you down the road.
Obviously, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. Is it okay for anybody who comes across this to be able to reach out and connect with you? Because this is called a mastermind, and the reason behind it is we all need to share ideas. So can people reach out to you?
Yeah, happy to. Reach out to me, connect on LinkedIn. I'm usually pretty quick to respond and love to have these conversations and help out in any way that I can.
I appreciate it. Alan, thank you so much for your time and your insights and your knowledge. And I'm sure I'll be bugging you again at some point in the future.
I appreciate it, Doug. Thanks so much.